Hey guys, welcome back. This is Mehdi,
Hey guys, this is Fran.
and this is Total Tactics Football. Fran, Barcelona were able to make another comeback and beat Betis 3-2. How did Ronald Koeman set up for this game, and how were they able to get this result?
Yeah, so the interesting thing, of course, was that Koeman set up with this 4-3-3 structure, and Messi and De Jong were noticeably missing early on in the game. And they later did have to come on to kind of salvage things because of Araujo's injury and obviously the fact that the game was going Betis' direction. The interesting thing, of course, is when you play this 4-3-3 structure that we've seen this season, you have Dembele there, and he's proving to be, once again, a consistent threat now that Ansu Fati is out. And it's just his ability to kind of draw defenders and cut it down the byline actually gives Barcelona an additional threat in the game, because instead of cutting inside, sometimes Dembele can cut it out to the wings and provide some width for Barcelona. And his ability to find this sort of incisive pass through the double team with Betis means that he finds Messi in space and allows Messi to score. But on the other hand, of course, you have the double-edged sword in a sense where Dembele is still a bit raw as a player because he hasn't had as much opportunities to play. And, he does scuff chances where, for example, here in this key opportunity, he decides to go for a chip when he realistically could have gone for a cutback for his teammate.
No, you're right on that time thing. It's perfect with Dembele. He needed some of that time to play. But another player who we saw again, as we know, Messi coming back on, and he kind of gave that team a moral support. But at the same time, they were lacking that sort of creativity from midfield. With Pjanic and Busquets and Puig, they weren't able to really break through the center. They were looking to attack from the wings. And we see here with the goal, Messi is able to play this beautiful 1-2 with Alba, slots him in, and Alba cuts it back for Griezmann, who should score but gets fortunate here, and it's an own goal. But it's the kind of the creativity that this player brings into the team, not just the goals, but it's about that how he dictates the play from deep and is able to attack in those further up the field.
No, definitely. And I think, the interesting thing when you mentioned Alba, Alba is also another double-edged sword in this team where offensively he is so good and so great. And we saw that in the Granada game as an example. But on the other hand side, you see him kind of struggle with more physical, stronger wingers or even fullbacks. And we saw that today with the Emerson fantastic pass to Borja Iglesias, where Fekir is on the counter and he has the kind of space to find Emerson, who is stretching the field wider. And that's something that Barcelona's midfield also really struggled with today because they play in such a narrow structure in that sort of 4-3-3. You have Puig, who is more offensively positioned at times. And then you have Pjanic as well, who's not exactly as box-to-box as De Jong, because De Jong had to play in the centre-back position. And then you therefore see Emerson sort of blow by Alba and then find that beautiful cross. On the other hand, today we saw Fekir very much play on the left because his ability and his kind of freedom in this role where he plays as a 10 means that he found it easier to kind of play versus Mingueza, and the sort of structure that Betis had was to move Juan Mi, who was the naturally positioned as a left attacking mid, more as a traditional left mid, and he was playing a more defensive role, kind of containing Dembele, and Fekir would run forward, and that's kind of what allowed Fekir to move into that space that kind of secured him that free kick for the second goal for Betis.
You're absolutely right. And it's like how we've seen Manuel Pellegrini do it for Man City as well. It's the way that these fullbacks are able to go out wide, create these overlaps. As we see here, Juanmi is able to, like, Fekir is carrying the ball. You've got these four players in front of him, and the fullbacks give you this extra support. You've spread the field up. Juanmi has a great chance here to be able to capitalize. Ter Stegen gets a good touch and saves it. But it's about how they use those spaces. They realize that Barca's playing quite narrow, and they were able to overload an attack and cause problems for Barcelona.
Yeah, I agree. And I think fundamentally, of course, as we say, it's the kind of De Jong being missing, because De Jong provides that sort of balance where when you play a 4-3-3 nowadays in the traditional game, you're dealing with physical wingers or at least fullbacks who really provide a lot of dangerous threats. And you need to kind of coordinate with your fullbacks and support them. So when we see Barcelona, sometimes they do play a little bit asymmetrically, but sometimes, both fullbacks are high up the field. And that just means that when you're on a counter, you're really kind of even a man down at times. And I think De Jong is someone who can track back and pull back. But then when you have someone like Puig, who's offensively positioned, and then Busquets and Pjanic, who are in their later years and not exactly so physical in the game in terms of pressing and also kind of retracting, they can't really deal with that. And I think that's where Barcelona struggled the most.
Now, I mean, just to end it off, Trincao, we saw he got an excellent goal. Um, and to get the winner for Barcelona, and I think this is a player who's shown a lot of a promise, but at the same time not been able to deliver yet. He's struggled in this La Liga side for a little while. Maybe it's been the change in the leagues, but he is sort of fitting it. And this goal will go a long way. He's able to dribble and didn't cut inside, use his weaker foot to put in the ball into a top corner, and I think that's going to give a lot of Barca fans a lot of things to smile for.